Harish, can you tell me about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, as you know, hi, my name is Harish. I've been working as a software test engineer with the Cyber Solutions Private Limited since last 5 years. I have a good experience in manual testing, API testing with the Postman, DB testing, and mobile testing. I have a good experience at the healthcare and banking and travel domain. So currently we are following agile methodology and our sprint is for 2 weeks. And coming to my roles and responsibilities, like initially I will review the requirements, okay, and understand the requirement from the Jira dashboard. Once the requirements review is done, then I'll start designing the test scenarios and test cases in the test trail. And meanwhile, developers are developing the requirements. They will release a new build to the testing team for testing basically. So once we get the new build from the development team, we will perform the smoke testing, and then the smoke testing passes, then we will continue with the functional testing, like where we are executing the design test cases and all. While executing the test case, if we find any defects, then those bugs will be raised in Jira and assigned to the concerned developers. So once we get a modified build from the development team, we will perform the retesting and regression testing here. Apart from that, we also continue with the system testing once the regression testing is completed. Coming to this API testing, we are following the REST API for our application, and the tool is called Postman. And we have a different type of request methods like get, post, put, patch, and delete type of methods. We are validating the response code and response body by using the JavaScript in Postman. So we are running the entire Postman collection and generating the JSON report and sending some queries in the database like joins, functions, some using DDL and DML commands.
Okay. Uh, what were the domains you have worked on in your projects?
I worked on the healthcare and the insurance and banking.
Can you explain any of your project?
Yeah, let's talk about the healthcare. The healthcare is basically, it is a web application basically. It's a dealing with the different kind of, hospitals. Okay, in India, like we are working on the Apollo hospitals. The client location is Chennai. We have a different type of models like front office, physician, laboratory, radiology, pharmacy, stores. There are a bunch of models are there. So for these models we are developing, and we are testing and release the product to the customer every 2 weeks to the customer. Apart from that, working on the database also, like executing. So here my job is like working on the manual testing, writing the test cases and test scenarios in the test trail, and get it reviewed by the test lead. And apart from that, also working on the different type of testing. Types we have to involve, like smoke, functional testing, retesting, regression testing, adapt testing, the UAT testing, and all these things. Apart from that, API testing also is there. So we are using the REST API for this. Like we are getting the different type of patient's information or equipment information via API. We are validating the those data from the Postman. Like writing some queries to check whether the front end data is reflecting in the database or not. So we are writing some queries like function procedures, joins kind of things.
Okay, what was the queries you have used for database?
Database, I mostly use joins queries, because yeah, we have the inner join, left and right join, full join, right? Okay, we are using that mostly.
Okay, for checking the data or for what? Like,
No, it's checking the data. It's a validating data only. So we are not developing. I mean, we are not writing the queries for development purpose. Only for executing the queries, whether the UI data is reflecting the tables or not.
okay, only for fetching the data.
Exactly. Yes. We are not updating anything. We are not deleting anything because I don't have permissions to do that operations.
Okay. So only select queries you have used, right?
Yeah, select queries are used, but I know the other type of queries as well for my practice purpose. I did that, but in the real time, I use mostly select queries, joins. I use most of the commands, DDL, DML, DCL commands, functions also count, maximum, minimum kind of things, and having group by, order by, where class, like these are the different type of between in operators. Yeah, all these things I used it.
Okay. What is the difference between truncate and delete?
Truncate is not delete is nothing but delete one or more record from the table. Truncate is nothing but it will be delete all the record from the table except the table structure.
Okay. Can you explain me about the bug life cycle?
Bug life cycle, since we are using our Jira, We have a different workflow in Jira. Like, whenever we raise a defect in the Jira, it will be in the to-do status, and then it will be assigned to the developers. The developers start fixing it. They will change the status to fixing. Once it is fixed, they will change the status to resolved. So once all the bugs got resolved, the resolved bugs will be, I mean, deployed the build to the testing team. The testing team has to retest it, and once the retesting is done, if it is working fine, then we are closing it. That is called close status. If it is not working, then we have to reopen and we have to send it back to the development team. That is reopen status. If the defect is already raised by someone in the team, then they will change the status to duplicate. If the defect is not valid, then they will change it to rejected it. Sometimes, if the defect is not mandatory to fix in this release, they will change the status to deferred. That is called postpone bug. Sometimes, they will change the status, like, if the defect is not having the proper information, they'll put on hold. Mostly these are the different type of defect status.
Hmm. Okay. Um, what is the difference between retesting and regression testing?
Retesting comes after the whenever you receive modified build, right? Okay, first we have to do the retesting on the fixed bugs, like, resolved bugs, whether the bug is properly working or not with a different set of data and multiple set of data. We have to test it, and after that we have to go with the regression testing, because we have to check the side effects of the bug fixes. Any side effects of the bug fixes are there in the application. For that, we have to do the regression testing.
Okay. Do you have any release notes in your project?
Yes, we have the test report is there, bug report is there, and test execution report. So all these type of reports we have to release to the customer whenever we have a production release.
Okay.
Like, how many known
Oh,
issues are there and all those things.
what you will provide in sign off when you are sending sign off mail?
Sign off mail, we are giving the feature names, like, module names or feature names. Okay, what we tested and how many test cases we have executed, not executed, and blocked, and how many bugs we found, how many closed, not closed, the known bugs. Yeah, mostly these are the data we carried out in the report.
Okay. What is conditional sign off?
Conditional sign of, I don't do this kind of things. Conditional sign of, like, I didn't face this conditional sign of things.
Oh, okay, no problem. Uh, do you have idea on TFS tool
Yes, I
for
know
defect
yeah,
tracking?
I know the basic things about this TFS. TFS look like, a little bit Azure DevOps, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I worked on Azure DevOps.
Have you worked on Azure DevOps?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What is test suite?
Test suite is a combination of test cases. We have the different type of test cases are there, so that will come under the test suite. So we can call it as a test plan.
Okay. Do you have ever involved in sprint planning meetings and all?
Yeah, of course. We have a deal. I mean, the Scrum ceremonies are there. We have a daily stand up every day at 10 o'clock. We are discussing about what we have done yesterday and what we are planning for today, and what are the improvements we are facing in the current process. And every sprint start or ending, we have the sprint review meeting and sprint planning meeting. We have a sprint retrospective meeting also at the end of the sprint.
Okay. How you have assigned the user stories and all?
The scrum master will assign the user stories. Example, whenever you have a sprint planning, right? Okay, so the developers are selecting all these stories for their development purpose. But what we'll do, among the team members, testing team members, we are selecting the each individual story and creating the subtask for that, like, test, I mean, requirements review, test case design, test execution. All these subtasks we're creating under the main story. So we don't have any permissions, okay, or access to these stories to update something like that. We just have to read the requirement from the story, and we have to create the subtask, and we have to finish that.
Okay. Do you provide any estimation time for that user story and all? Did
Yeah, of
you
course. Yeah, we are doing
ask
that.
in
Yeah, actually,
uh,
the story points are there, but I don't have too much knowledge on estimation part. I'm trying to be expert in that, but I give my estimation as per my user story. Like, we have the Fibonacci series for us, right? The story points estimation kind of things. Story points, 2, 3,
uh,
5, 8, and 13, something like that.
okay. What is product backlog?
Product backlog is a combination of the sprint backlog and the backlog items. So whenever the product owner create the new requirements, it automatically go to the product backlog. The new, I mean, product backlog is a combination of upcoming sprint and existing sprint items, backlog items completely. Uh, yeah,
Mm. Mm. Have you worked in API, right?
right.
So what was the requests and what was the errors you have faced?
But status codes you're talking about?
Yeah.
Status codes are maybe okay. Status codes, we have the different type of status code like 200, 300 series, 400, 500 series. 500 is totally server side error messages, and 400 client side error messages, and 300 is a redirectional messages. 200 successful messages.
Okay. 401 error is
401 is unauthorized. Oh no, no, no. 401, yeah, 401 should be unauthorized.
okay. 403.
403 payment required. No, it must be the same related to the unauthorized only, but it should be forbidden request.
Oh. What was the what you have done in API? You have
Yeah, we are whenever we get the request, right? I mean the API story, right? So what you'll do,
uh,
we have the request URL, and we have the request type, like is I mean the method type, like get or post put. Then we have the request body if it is a post or put request type, and then we have the authentication type, like basic auth or OAuth, and then if you have any cookies, they all these things we have to put into the postman in the under request, then hit the send button, then we have to check the response code is properly coming or not, and the response data is properly generating or not. So we have to assert the response body and the response codes by using JavaScript snippets in the postman.
okay. That URLs will be provided by dev, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Okay. Uh, XMLs and JSON you have used in that
right.
REST
XML
API.
is for the SOAP UI mostly, and JSON is for REST API.
Okay. Just for comparing the data you have used, or for what?
We are cross
Between
checking
the
the.
XMLs or JSON format, for comparing data you have used API, or exactly for what purpose you have
We are
done
validating the
in
front
API
end
testing?
data. Yeah, we are just validating the data is properly updating as per the UI or not. Okay, so whenever we created some data, okay, from the API, that should reflect in the database as well. So we are checking, I mean, in the ticket, in the story, basically they are providing the expected results also. So that data is properly coming or not, so we have to do that assertions in the postman request itself, so that
Okay.
expected data is properly coming or not. Simply we have to validate.
What is bug leakage?
Bug leakage, basically, if the bug is frequently appearing from past zones or dates, so we have to cross check, like the bug is coming since so how many days it is coming, like that. I'm not sure about completely bug leakage.
Uh, um, what was the environment you have worked on?
Environments, you're talking about the systems or type of environments in the in the
Type
pro-
of environments in testing.
we have the QA environment, staging and production environments.
Okay. UAT you didn't work.
Before signing up the I mean the bill, I had to perform the UAT, but mostly my team lead will do that activity. Sometimes I'll do that UAT.
Okay. Did you work on production environment also?
Yes, yes, of course, but we won't hit, I mean, update the data much, because that's the production database, right? Okay, we should not add any dummy data. We just use the some real data into the production environment. Usually we don't have permissions to do that, but sometimes some cases we have to do.
Okay. Only just for checking purpose, right?
Right, main
Not
scenarios,
creating
the
or adding anything in
right.
production.
Main scenarios, we are checking, like insanity or smoke cases, something like
Okay. Um, what you have discussed in daily calls and weekly calls?
that. Discussed.
Yeah.
Discussing like daily calls.
Just only updating the work or
No, no, no.
any.
We have the two to three different calls in every day. Like first call is the daily scrum where we're discussing about the what we have done yesterday and what we are planning for today, and are we facing any issues in the your current process. Okay, if we are facing any issues, then we can discuss with the developers or some other. They can resolve a friend, and they will talk about the new requirements also, upcoming requirements, and sometimes we are conducting the key decisions also on the new requirements, and I'll give the KT to my team. Okay, whenever they need, and the knowledge on the different kind of requirements. Okay, the application workflow and everything, and we have the QA sync up call is there. In the QA sync up call, our team lead will set up a meeting, and they will discuss what is the plan of action for the releases, how we are planning, and are you guys taking any leaves, emergency leaves. Okay, please postpone it, something like that. So like best practices for the QA. So how to find more bugs in the application, all this kind of the thoughts we are discussing in the QA sync up call. Like upgrading every day, okay, about the on the domain part or project wise, whatever it is, QA side, all these things we are discussing in the QA sync up call. That is 30 minutes.
Okay. Did you send daily reports or weekly reports and all?
Yes, daily reports is not there, but weekly report is there. Daily report, like we have to log the hours in the Jira, and we have to mention that what you worked on the so and so day. And the weekly report, we have to send it through the Excel sheet, and there is one more tool also there internally. We have to mention that, we have to generate that, and we have to send it to the lead.
What was the tool used for the weekly reports?
That is an internal tool. They have the internal tool is there, like weekly wise, how much work you have done, what you worked on, how much, I mean, what is the hours you have spent on so and so activity. All these things you have to send it through the internal portal. But in the Excel sheet,
Oh,
yeah, in the Excel sheet, we have to send, okay, on this particular day, what you worked on how many hours you worked on that.
no,
That thing we have
no,
to send it through the Excel sheet.
no. Can you tell me the difference between smoke testing and sanity testing?
Smoke is nothing but whenever you receive a new build from the development team, we have to check the smoke testing first of all, because the basic functionality checking is mandatory. Basic health of the application is mandatory. We have to check that. Sanity is nothing but whenever we have the code changes in the build. Okay, usually it will be on the modified build. Whenever we have the code changes on the build, we have to check that area whether the sanity is working properly or not.
Okay. Have you done end-to-end testing?
Yes, of course. End-to-end testing and system testing is closely same, but the difference is end-to-end testing. We are checking the functional flows. There is an entire functional flow in the application. Okay, take one example. There is a healthcare system. So register one patient. I know move to different modules and check whether it is going properly or not. The flow is going properly or not.
No. What is integration testing?
Integration testing, we usually developers will do that, but integration testing here we are combining two different models and checking the data is flowing from one model to another model or not. Like combining two or more modules or screens and checking the flows is working properly. Example, there is a registration login is there. So once you register to the website, with that data you should be able to log into the system.
Okay, fine. Fine, Harish. Do you have any queries or
Yeah,
questions?
I would like to ask, like, what is your work culture and what kind of technology you guys are using, and what are the domains you're working on?
Actually, I have asked that thing only. What we have doing here, like we have daily calls, weekly reports, weekly calls, and all will be there. That's why I have asked you
Great.
what you have discussed in the calls, like what we have discussed here.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Great.
Yeah, here we are using TFS tools.
Uh-huh.
Like we are, it is similar to Azure DevOps only.
Yes. Yes.
So I have asked that one.
Yes.
So what and all here we will work. I have asked that thing only.
Great. Great. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Ash.
Eh,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. No. Thanks. Very much.
Okay. Okay, Harish.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thanks.
your time.
Yeah.
HR will be
Yeah.
contacting you.
Thanks a lot.